Few love stories are as haunting as Devdas. Unlike tales where fate or family violence destroys lovers, Devdas presents a more unsettling tragedy: a man who destroys himself. Devdas is set in early 20th century Bengal, within the rigid social and class structures of colonial India, where family honor and status often dictated personal destiny. At its core, Devdas is the story of two childhood companions, Devdas and Parvati, known as Paro, who grow up in neighboring households in rural Bengal. Their affection is innocent at first, but as they mature, social divisions begin to harden. Devdas belongs to a wealthier, higher status family. Paro's family, though respectable, stands slightly lower in social hierarchy. What begins as playful intimacy slowly becomes constrained by pride, status, and unspoken expectations. When Paro's family proposes marriage, Devdas hesitates. He neither firmly accepts nor courageously defies his family. His indecision becomes the turning point of the novel. Paro, wounded by his lack of resolve, is married off to a wealthy older widower. The separation is not violent, not dramatic, and that is precisely why it hurts. The tragedy unfolds not through explosive conflict, but through hesitation. Devdas then spirals. Unable to accept Paro's marriage and unwilling to fight for her when it mattered, he turns to alcohol. His self-destruction is gradual, almost deliberate. He drifts into the company of Chandramukhi, a courtesan who genuinely loves him. Yet even in the presence of devotion, Devdas cannot escape his own paralysis. He rejects the possibility of healing because he is bound to his suffering. His identity becomes inseparable from his pain. What makes Devdas enduringly powerful is that its tragedy does not arise from destiny or divine curse. It emerges from pride, ego, and emotional immaturity. Devdas is not a hero undone by society alone. He is undone by his inability to act with conviction. In this sense, the novel becomes a psychological study. It asks an uncomfortable question: how often do we lose what we love not because it was impossible, but because we were afraid? The novel's popularity across South Asia and through its many film adaptations stems from this emotional realism. Readers recognize the subtle forces at work: family expectations, class divisions, masculine pride, fear of vulnerability. Devdas embodies a form of toxic hesitation, the inability to commit, to rebel, or to grow. He feels deeply yet acts weakly. Paro, in contrast, evolves. Though forced into marriage, she adapts with dignity. Chandramukhi, despite her marginalized position in society, demonstrates emotional strength and loyalty. Ironically, the women in the novel display more resilience than the man at its center. This inversion subtly critiques traditional gender roles. Devdas may occupy social privilege, but emotionally, he is fragile. Critics have debated whether Devdas should be seen as romantic or cautionary. Some argue that the novel romanticizes male self-destruction, presenting suffering as proof of deep love. Others interpret it as a critique of precisely that mindset, a warning against glorifying emotional weakness and pride. From a scholarly perspective, Devdas reflects early 20th century Bengali society, where class consciousness and patriarchal structures dictated personal destiny. Yet its emotional architecture feels timeless. Even today, we see individuals trapped by ego, unwilling to apologize, confess, or fight for love until it is too late. Perhaps the most heartbreaking element of Devdas is its ending. Devdas, physically weakened by alcohol and despair, travels to Paro's home to see her one final time. He collapses outside her gate. Paro runs toward him, but social boundaries, once again, prevent her from reaching him in time. He dies alone, only steps away from the woman he loved. This final image is devastating not because it is dramatic, but because it is preventable. His death is not inevitable. It is the culmination of countless moments where courage might have changed the outcome. And that is what we can take from Devdas. Love alone is not enough. Without action, without humility, without the strength to confront society and oneself, love decays into regret. Devdas remains powerful because it exposes a universal weakness, the temptation to cling to suffering instead of choosing growth. It reminds us that pride can be more destructive than opposition, and that sometimes the greatest tragedies are not imposed from outside but cultivated within. If you found this exploration meaningful, please like this video and subscribe to Literature Literally for more deep, emotional, and analytical journeys into the world's most powerful stories.